Welcome everyone. My name is Joelle and today I'll be taking you through a Yin Yoga practice for tired legs or sore legs. So this is going to be wonderful if you spend a lot of time on your feet, or even just for those of us who spend a lot of time sitting with our legs in one position all day. So we'll be working to bring a little bit of life and energy back into them. In terms of props or equipment, I have one pillow with me. If you'd like to keep some extra pillows or blankets nearby to lift yourself up in a couple of our postures, then I encourage you to do so. And we're going to get started in a half shoelace position. So stretching the legs out in front of us, just taking a moment to arrive on the mat and figure out how the body is feeling before gently bringing the right knee on top of the left, and it may or may not come directly on top of the other knee. You can always place a little blanket or pillow in between, and any amount that right foot can come towards the left hip. And then we're just going to walk ourselves forwards into a forward fold. And again, you could place a pillow or prop underneath the chest or the forehead. Or I also just like to let the upper body hang heavy here. So in Yin Yoga, we look to release any effort from our muscles. So notice here if perhaps anything is gripping in the legs, the low back, even in the fingertips or the jaw. Just scanning the body head to toe, inviting it to release. Looking to find our edge, so about 2/3 of your maximum here. And over time, as we hold this posture, you might find that the upper body drops a little bit further. Or conversely, you might find that it's more appropriate for you to back off a little bit. Remember that this is your practice. It does not have to resemble anyone else's, or even any prior practice that you may have done. So settling in here, noticing the breath, noticing the sensations that this may bring up, whether in the legs or elsewhere, in the body, in the mind, and holding the pose. And very gently begin to press the fingertips and the palms of the hands into the mat so that we can slowly walk our way back up. And then keeping the legs exactly as they are, just bring the left hand out beside you. And bending into that elbow, reaching the right arm up and over. And it's up to you whether you release down completely onto that elbow or place a pillow underneath the forearm. Just finding a little bit of length through those right fingertips. Just a few more deep breaths here. And then pressing our way back up. Finding length in the spine. Untangling the legs. And either holding still here for a few moments, or it might feel nice to give them a little bit of a shake. In and out, or up and down with the knees. And once you're ready, we'll take that half shoelace pose on the other side. So lengthening out through the right leg, bringing the left knee right on top of the right knee, or thereabouts. And eventually beginning to walk yourself forwards any amount, finding what this posture may look like on the second side, sometimes very different from the first side. So again, letting go of any expectations of what this should look like or should feel like. There is nothing that needs to be done right now, other than to find the edge, whatever that may mean for you and your body today. And then to simply hold the posture. Noticing the breath. And releasing whatever you need to let go of. If you find that over time, perhaps there is a little bit more space to be found, perhaps that's in the back of the legs or somewhere along the spine, you're welcome to inch the hands forwards a little bit, maybe readjusting the shape of the upper body in space or released onto a prop. Or you're welcome to stay exactly as you are. A few more deep breaths here. And just like we did before, starting to bring a little bit of pressure back into those hands. Slowly making our way back up. And this time placing the right palm over beside you. Gently bending at the elbow. And maybe adding on by reaching those left fingertips up and over. Just about 5 deep breaths here. Finding length through that left side body. Breathing into the left side of that rib cage. And then sitting back up, uncrossing the legs. And again, any little movements that might feel good for you. Just to rebound from that shoelace posture. So now that we're hopefully feeling a little bit more alive in the backs of the legs, we'll come into a half saddle position. So tucking the right foot now back towards the right hip. You might need to roll that calf muscle out from underneath you. And again, keeping that left leg straight. You might like to sit up tall. If this is uncomfortable for you, you can again just tuck a little cushion underneath you to help with keeping the tailbone nice and relaxed. Or you can also place a pillow or a little folded up towel behind the knee if this is a little bit too much pressure here. And if you'd like to add on, this is where I'll be using my pillow. Releasing back. Staying up either on palms or forearms. Or perhaps over time releasing down any amount here. So contrary to the forward folds in our half shoelace posture, this time we're looking for sensation in the front of the leg, quadriceps, hip flexor area. Oftentimes very tight for those of us who spend a lot of time at a desk or in any seated position, really. And I always encourage you to take a moment to find some gratitude to yourself for turning up today, finding what it is that your body was asking you for, was craving. And let's spend some time here together in silence, staying with the pose and listening to your own breath. And if you were reclined, very slowly starting to lift back up, making your way back onto the palms, leaning over just slightly to the left so that we can bring that right leg out alongside of it. And again, finding any little movements here. I always like to take a few ankle rolls, maybe in each direction. And we'll switch sides. So bringing left foot right up alongside that left hip, maybe rolling the calf muscle out from underneath you. And either sitting up nice and tall here, or perhaps walking the palms behind you, coming down onto the forearms, or maybe lowering all the way down onto your mat or onto a pillow. And you can keep the palms face up here. Perhaps reflecting on what it is that brought you to the mat today. What the ideal outcome for you would be once you step off of the mat. Allowing that possibility to crystallize in your mind. And recognizing the reality of that possibility. And wherever you are, you might notice again the depth of your breath. Perhaps looking to make the exhales just that little bit longer than the inhales. To help release not only the physical body, but the nervous system, the mind, your emotional responses as well. And let's start to make our way back up. Bringing both legs alongside each other. Any little movements here. And we'll turn over onto our stomachs, maybe keeping our pillow or props nearby. Let's start by bringing the left knee out to the side. So we'll take a tipsy frog variation. And releasing the forehead down towards the back of the hands. You're always welcome to bring a blanket underneath that inner left knee. Letting that left inner thigh melt towards the ground.
And after working to release the back of the legs and the front of the legs in our earlier postures, looking now for a soft opening in the adductors, the groin area. Again, often very tight for so many of us. Not too many opportunities in our day-to-day lives to enliven or energize these areas. And for our final minute in this posture, you are welcome to stay as you are, with the forehead resting to the back of the hands, or option to raise up onto the forearms into Sphinx pose. Hands can be flat to the mat or maybe palms together. Releasing the shoulder blades behind you. Gazing straight ahead, or maybe letting the chin fall softly towards the chest. Just observing how that may change any feeling in the inner thighs or elsewhere. And then, if you were lifted up into Sphinx again, slowly releasing that forehead back towards the back of the hands, sliding that left leg back to meet the right, and maybe just rocking the hips a few times from side to side. Perhaps observing if there is any difference between the side we have worked and the side we have not. Looking to balance that out on our second side. So sliding the right knee out alongside you, maybe with a little blanket underneath. Staying released down. Gypsy frog variation on the right, one of my favorites. And this is a nice opportunity to again remind ourselves to release everything that can be released. So no tension here in the glutes, no gripping in the toes, shoulders nice and relaxed. It's just you, the posture, and your breath. Maybe feeling the belly press into the mat with every inhale. And let something go with every exhale. And once more, option to remain as you are, or to find that Sphinx variation, lifting up onto the forearms. If this is a little bit too intense, you can always walk the forearms a little bit further forwards. And just one more minute here. Let's release back into that reclined posture on the belly, sliding both legs alongside each other, maybe giving them a little bit of a shake. Before pressing our way back onto our backs, taking hold of your pillow if you were using one, and sliding it underneath the hips. We'll come into Waterfall Pose. So once you've got whatever it is you're using underneath that seat, you can bring the legs up towards the sky, keeping a soft bend at the knees. We won't be here quite as long. This is just a nice opportunity to reverse the blood flow in the legs. Just give them an opportunity to be weightless. Maybe again taking a bit of a scan from the tips of your toes down through the arches of the feet and tops of the feet, along the ankles, shins, calves, knees, front of the thigh, inner thigh, back of the leg, and even into your hips. Maybe guiding the breath and the energy to circulate along the length of the entire leg. And let's start to bend the knees towards the chest. Maybe rocking a little bit from left to right. Before setting one foot and then the other back to the mat. Lifting the hips just to remove that pillow. And we'll roll over to the right side and come to seated. Once you're there, let's bring the left foot in flat. We'll just take a gentle open twist, placing the right hand behind you and simply resting the left arm on that knee. So not pulling, not forcing, just a gentle twist here for a few moments.
And then coming back to center, extending that leg out, planting the right foot, and taking an open twist towards the left. Feeling the connection between the sole of the foot and the earth. Feeling the gentle weight of the right arm on top of that knee. All of these different areas of the leg that work hard for us and deserve a little bit of attention and gratitude. A few more deep breaths here. And coming out of that, extending both legs alongside each other. Let's just give them a little bit of a rub. Maybe using the hands to gently rock them side to side. And then let's slide our pillow underneath the knees. Lowering back down all the way. Turning the palms to face the sky. And finding our Savasana corpse pose. Final relaxation for today. Take this opportunity to let everything go. Expectation and tension. Resting here in silence and peace. And of course, I invite you to stay in Shavasana as long as you would like. And once you are ready to come out, you can begin by wiggling fingers, toes, perhaps a few more ankle circles or wrist circles. And eventually rolling over towards your right side to make our way up to seated. Any seated position at all that you would like. Rolling the shoulders back, placing the hands on top of the legs. Just for that little bit of connection, noticing how the legs are feeling. And let's inhale the arms up towards the sky. And exhale them down to heart center. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining me today. I do hope that you and your legs enjoyed this Yin Yoga practice, and I hope to practice with you again soon. Please do let me know what you thought of this one, and I wish you a beautiful rest of your day.